Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic:
what is so ridiculously overpriced, yet you still buy? Groceries. When little Timmy checked his bank and found it rather bare, he said, "I need a check that's blank. I need some cash to spare. I work all day, I work all night, and still I'm always broke. It isn't fair, it isn't right." The hapless Timmy spoke. "I need to find a multitude of ways to save." Quote, he cried. And sir, he just stopped buying food. And Timmy fucking died. "I miss prepping the same meal for a week to save money, not out of necessity." Sad face. Make frugality fun again. Pretty much all the things I need to stay alive. Oh ho ho, you like a little taste of luxury, I see. Turns on the heat. Exactly. Like snacks and booze. Fucking White Claws are way overpriced. Rent. Housing in general. Even people who can afford a house are paying double than 10 years ago. And this group obviously gets smaller and smaller. And a lot of people are waiting for a crash. I think the next couple years is as much a crash as we're gonna get. And then everything will skyrocket again. I can't believe how much people spend on alcohol at a bar. You're not buying alcohol. You're renting space to stand in. Yay. I can get cheap drunk at other places, but the people there suck and look like they want to stab me. For being who I am, I'll overpay for alcohol to stand in a nicer spot while complaining about how much it costs. Alcohol in general. The cost for beer is even going up. I don't drink anymore, but where I live a 6-pack of local craft was at most $10 for something basic. Like a pale ale. I checked the other day out of curiosity and the minimum is $13 to $14. To be fair, this isn't a new thing. The price of beer jacked up at least 3 to 4 years ago. And it didn't seem like a gradual thing. Food with current inflation. Else you die. Utz large bag potato chips used to be 2 bags for $6 at my supermarket. Now it's 1 bag for $4.99. 12-month austerity diet gonna be fire. I used to work at a Utz daughter facility. Last year, they charged $4.50 per large barrel of cheese balls. This year they're charging $7 a barrel. All I can think is who TF would pay $7 for some fucking cheese balls. I loaded a truck a few months back. I can't remember if it was cheese balls or not, but it was definitely just snack food. $415K was how much that truck was worth. Wild. Concessions at sporting events. As much as I try my best to eat before I go and resist the urge to buy beer when I am there. Some days, seeing others enjoying their beer and food, snacks make me say, F it, and I indulge too. Man, the chokehold sporting event food can have on me. Depending on where you're sitting. The food isn't even very good. But it is lol. You can find good food sometimes. Whenever I go to a Miami Dolphins game, I have to get an arepa. It's like $8 for this little piece of bread and cheese, but it's so tasty. Health insurance, medical supplies. For our family of 5. The insurance premiums, deductible, and medications come to about $35,000 a year. You don't have an out-of-pocket maximum of like $12,000 or something? Sounds like some trash health insurance. Right now, cars, at least in my area. Brand new cars are few and far between. And it's not unusual to see used cars with prices $10K to $12K above what the price was a year and a half ago. It's insane. I've heard about people flying multiple states over just to get a car for MSRP, instead of $10K more. Just a normal sedan. Pretty crazy. My buddy did that. Flew from Chicago to New York to save thousands on a Honda. There is a huge Ford dealership right next to my office. One of my favorite things to do when I first started working there was go next door and walk through an inventory of all the new cars. For the past year or so, though, it's pretty much just been a giant empty surface parking lot. I've noticed that all the empty lots are filling up again. Dealers will still play the markup game for a few more months. But I'm already seeing used prices start to fall back to at least under what the new price was. Glasses. I could always buy cheap ones. But I'd rather pay money to have nice frames that I actually like wearing rather than a pair I couldn't care less about. I used to hate wearing glasses because I thought they made me unattractive. When I got older, I realized I was just wearing cheap ugly glasses and I look pretty good in the right ones. I don't mind cheap, but it's the shape. I kept picking the wrong shapes for my face. But now I like myself in glasses and think I look weird without them. Insulin. How to find the American. We had to rush my grandma to the hospital this weekend. She was coherent enough to call my mother but was just babbling and not making sense. My mom tried to call her back but didn't get an answer, so she rushed over. She found her laying on the living room floor, passed out. Her blood sugar was over 400 and she was in diabetic shock. Now, my grandmother has been living with her diabetes for the better part of 40 years. She knows how to control her blood sugar, recognizes all the signs, so on and so forth. We didn't understand what happened. It turns out she's been using her deceased brother's insulin, which was several years expired at this point because she has been unable to afford it herself. She hasn't said anything because she didn't want to burden us. I can only imagine if this is happening in my family's life, how many others are also affected by a similar situation. This is flat out tragic. Warhammer 40k minis. My biggest fear is when I die, my wife will sell my Warhammer minis for what I told her they cost. This is hilarious. Make sure you sneak a note in the box saying their actual value before you cake the bucket at the bakery. Edit. Autocorrect put a nonsense word in there. Found Henry Cavill's alt account. We were playing Warhammer before celebrities made it cool. Plastic crack. Are they plastic now? When I was a kid they were lead. Tin.